With the recently released quality of life update on April the 4th, Facepunch added in the new large oil rig. The monument is considered as the big brother of the small rig that got released the update before. In general, the working principle of both the monuments is the same. The larger one has an additional 2 levels, and if you compare the footprint of them, you will see that the large rig is nearly twice the size of the small one. Additionally, we'll find way more paths, a quite confusing vent system, walk-in rooms, secret loot rooms, and obviously more loot crates in general on it. Not only that, you will be greeted with a lot higher count of scientists too. And you should be aware that they are using the updated AI, which means they play smarter, surround you, shoot out of cover, move back when they got lit up, try to swarm you, etc. So today I want to give you guys an in-depth guide on how to oil rig. You can find all the timestamps for the different topics as a pinned comment down below, so you can skip the parts that you already know about. And if you liked the video, consider subscribing to my channel to not miss out on any future videos. With that being said, let's begin. So first of all, I want to give you a brief insight of what you can expect and what you will find on the large oil rig. Starting with the obvious, there are around 25 blue scientists on the rig. Each of them got 150 HP and is either equipped with LR or MP5. The heavy scientists on the other side, which will only be dropped off when hacking the Chinook crate, have 300 HP each and are equipped with a M249 or a spare shotgun. Both kinds of the scientists will have loot in their bodies. Normal scientists most likely have components, meds and bullets on them, while heavy scientists contain more and a lot better higher tier loot such as weapons, kinds of explosives, grenade launcher and its ammo, etc. And if you didn't slaughter the scientists enough yet, you can even harvest them after killing to get up to 20 cloth and some bone fragments. But be quick, they will turn into bags quite fast. On the rig there are a couple of loot rooms. For some of them you will need the 3 different kind of cards, green, blue and red. Others are just hidden and you have to find them to get the loot. On the 3rd level of the oil rig you will find the green card room. In it you will get 3 basic crates to loot plus an extra green card on the desk. Also there's a workbench tier 2 in there, but you can't craft anything there yet, but that might get implemented into the game later on. On stage 4 you'll find the blue card room. Opening it up with your card will lead you to 4 military crates, 2 on each side on a shelf. Right next to this room is the recycler. You can either access it through the broken window glass or go into the room by putting a fuse into the box right next to the door to get an extra blue card. Close to that one is a kinda hidden balcony, which you can access by jumping up from the recycler level or by crawling through the vents on level 5. Up here can spawn up to 4 crates if you're lucky, as well as some more barrels. Also on the other side of level 5 there is a secret loot room, which you can access through a small vent, but more to it later. In here you will get 2 elite crates and chances are that you might get 2 extra normal or military crates too. On top of the rig there is a red card room. Accessing it will lead you into a room where you will find 3 elite, 4 military crates as well as an additional blue card. Left of the red card room there's a barbecue with usually some medical or food crates spawning right next to it. The barbecue can be really useful to temporarily store some loot that you don't want to recycle. Now, straight across there's a room for a research table in it to learn some items with your recently gained scrap. Across the rig you can also find rooms that are currently empty, but maybe will get a use or loot later on. In one of those rooms a SOS frequency will appear. That frequency you can put into your pager to get a live notification when somebody starts hacking the Chinook crate. Also across the whole monument you will find additional loot containers such as any kinds of barrels or crates. And last but not least the Chinook event crate on top. That opens up 15 minutes after you started hacking it with your codebreak brute force attack tool. As next I want to talk about how you can spot the monument. If the map is big enough, the large oil rig will randomly spawn somewhere in the ocean. You can find it far offshore, a little bit further away as the cargo ship will patrol. Before you set off and risk all your belongings, you should think about getting the location of the rig first though. For that there are a couple of different options to find it. First and simple, you could ask in a chat for the location and hope that the Rust community won't troll you. Second, you could just randomly respawn over and over again, then check your map where you are, run around the beach, and as soon as you see the rig, keep the location of it in mind. And last, you could just fly around with your minicopter or drive along the beach with your boat until you find it. But as it's currently on a staging board, Gary is working on an updated in-game map, which will show off the location of both of the oil rig monuments and whether there is a Chinook crate on there or not. But what you should always do, besides the method you're going to choose, is to place a sleeping bag at the beach close by, so you can always check if somebody is doing the rig right now by listening to the gunshots, or if you get killed in a group you can just swim back there. To get to the rig, the probably best method is driving there with a boat, preferably a rib. Especially when you're solo, the storage of a rib is very useful. Another option would be the minicopter, but that means that you gotta land on top of the rig. Scientists will get your attention and will push you, which will cost you loads of mats. Now, after you know what's on there, how to find and get there, let's talk about what you should equip yourself with. First of all, it really depends on how many people you're playing with. More people usually mean the easier it will get, and the less ammo and mats everybody of you has to take. I think the perfect sweet spot to be most efficient and have fun is as a duo or a trio. Clearing this monument the first time will probably waste loads of mats or even get you killed. But the more often you do it, the easier it will be, and you can even clear it quite easy as a solo player. If I'm playing solo, I prefer taking a AK or a semi-rifle. Make sure that they are close to full HP, in fact they will get damaged quite a lot. Also you should take a flashlight with you, chances are that you will run into the nighttime cycle. On bullets I always take at least 2.5 stacks with me, so I got the freedom to do some burst sprays and won't run out of bullets if another player shows up. Medical supplies are very important. Taking 10 to 14 syringes won't get you wrong. Additional, taking a few bandages and cloth to heal up is recommended. As alternative you could take any kinds of food such as corn, pumpkins, meat etc. too. Also a tool to destroy all the barrels on there shouldn't be missing, as well as some low rate fuel to even get there. Then to access the loot rooms etc. you will need a fuse and the 3 different kinds of cards. You could leave the fuse in the blue card in your base though, because scientists drop fuses and you will find 2 blue cards in the other cards rooms. As gear, I recommend taking at least a hazmat suit for 30% projectile protection on your whole body. An upgrade would be the road sign kit for 35 to 45% protection, and the highest protection of 45 to 50% you will have with the full metal kit. I'm not saying that it's impossible to go with stuff like a wooden gear, burlap clothing and a revolver or even a compound bow, but everything lower than what I've mentioned before will drain loads of mats of you and take away your time, so if you got something better in your base, just take it. Now, after knowing most of the main information about the monument, I want to show you a procedure and how to approach your rig. The following method is my absolute favorite because it's very efficient and saves me time and mats. First, you gotta drive towards your rig. Sometimes it can happen that the dog of the rig is on the other side. To know on what exact side it is, you can take the fire on top left as a reference point. If the fire is on the left, dog is straight ahead. Is it on the right side instead, means that the whole rig is reversed and you gotta drive around it. If you're about 80 to 100 meters away of the dog, turn off the engine, get out of your seat and start taking out the scientists on the first 2 levels. If you're able to kill scientists on higher levels, it's fine, but chances are if you don't kill them that they will come down and push you. If you think you're done and you don't see any scientists walking around there, take the driver's seat in your boat, start the engine and drive to the little dock there. Sometimes it can happen that you're still getting shot at. Just jump out and finish the remaining scientists. Now take out the fuel of your boat and loot the bodies down here. Then climb up the ladder and slowly go up the stairs to make sure that no scientist is remaining on level 1. When you're looting the bodies, watch out for this spot here. They attempt to camp up here and as soon as you run around on their side, they will shoot you. As mentioned before, scientists sometimes will push down, so you should always keep an eye on both of the staircases to not get killed by those. If you're done looting, take the stairs in the back. Jump up halfway and check behind you if there's a scientist patrolling here. If not, keep going up and watch your front and your left. If you see a scientist, obviously take him out. Now, you don't even want to bother looting this level, because there really isn't any good loot up here. Instead, you want to go up the stairs right next to you. Most of the time, a scientist is patrolling on the stairs to the right or below it. Then, scientists will probably be either on the balcony or left around the corner towards the green card room. After clearing and looting those, go to the green card room, slide your cards through the reader and loot the 3 boxes and maybe the green card. Now go out of the room and after checking your left and the right side for scientists, move along the left side. Here you want to jump up the little boxes. Now move along to the end to check for scientists and maybe spot a loot crate. Then run back and jump up these pipes here, but watch out for patrolling scientists up here. Now you can either go into the vent loot room, or you can get a kinda hidden military crate that only spawns sometimes. For that, jump up the railing as well as up to the white pipe. Open up your F1 console and type step 60 into it. That will make you jump a little bit higher. After jumping up the Seaguller, go to the right. Sometimes it can happen that the scientist sees you. Just take him out, heal up again and run towards the end of the path. Back here, sneak and carefully drop down onto the railing underneath you. From here, keep walking around the blue tank, and to the right you will now either see a crate or not. Now jump back over the railing you came from, run up the pipes and climb them. Up here you will notice a small vent gate. Open it up and follow the trail. This will lead you into a loot room. After looting the boxes, keep going through the next vent on the opposite side. Out here, check for scientists and move along to the right. If a scientist is patrolling close or up the staircase, take him out. Then jump up the railing as well as over the white and blue tank up to the ladder. From up the crane you can clean up the entire top level now. If you did that, smoothly jump down and loot the bodies and crates up here. If you're running out of storage in your inventory, go to the barbecue and store some items and stuff in there you don't want to recycle. Then take out your red card to open up the room and loot all the crates in here. Now run downstairs to the recycler room. As you can see, without a fuse you can't open that door, so put a fuse in the box right next to the door and open the room. Loot the blue card and recycle all your components you don't need. Meanwhile, run out and go to the blue card room. In here, loot all the 4 military crates and fill up the recycle with components you don't need. Don't stay too long in the recycler, because there might be a scientist or player sneaking up on you. Next, go get this crate here, but as always be careful because there are still scientists alive. Now to get onto the balcony, hop up to the gas canisters, jump up to the blue container, then up to the sea girder and you're there. It can happen that you will find up to 3 scientists up here. Kill them and loot the crates and barrels. Then jump down and bring your stuff you don't need to the recycler. While you're waiting for the recycler to finish, you could go around and loot remaining crates and barrels on your monument, or collect the loot of killed scientists. When the recycler finished, take out the loot of it and go upstairs. Up here you want to activate the Chinook crate, but before you do that you should think about getting a good position to fight first. My favorite spot is the crane up here. The scientists can barely hit or see you up here, while you got a full view of the level and can met up in peace. Also you could go to the crane on the other side, that gives you the same possibility, it's just harder to get to. If you're playing as a duo, one of you could boost the other to this position here. The scientists can't get to you, but you got several options to peek them, as well as a safe spot to heal up. What else you could do is to hide in one of the empty rooms, but I personally wouldn't recommend that, because the only way to peek out of them is the doorway. And if the scientists see you, they can lit up your whole body. So as soon as you hit your use key to start taking the crate, a countdown of 50 minutes will show up on the crate itself. Sirens will light up, a warning alarm will blare out of the speakers, and a Chinook will fly by and land on the helipad within the next minute. The heli now will drop off 11 heavy scientists, which is kinda weird because as you can see there are only 11 of them on board, which means that the Chinook flies back without driver. Anyways, they will all rush downstairs, split up and take different positions. Your mission is it to kill all of them. They take about 9 body shots or 5 headshots with the AK, or 11 body and 6 headshots with a semi-rifle. My tip is it to always focus them one by one. Don't change your focus between them if possible. It's much better when there are less of them instead of them all having low HP. Another option to kill the heavy scientist is to take out the Chinook. For that, shoot 2 or 3 smoke grenades in the bottom of the heli at one side so it loses its balance and crashes. Similar to the heli, it will be on fire and it's going to take a couple of minutes until it's out and you can loot it. Also it can happen that some of the bodies fall into the water. Just jump down and loot the floating bags. Anyways, when you're sure that all of them are dead, the looting can begin. All of the heavy scientists are basically running league crates, so try to loot the best items of them. If your inventory is full and you need some more space, you can temporarily store some of your items in the barbecue, but don't forget to take them with you later on. Also you should recycle most of the components etc. you don't need for scrap, loads of high qual and some other resources. And if you're multiple people, try to stack items instead of everybody taking anything. Finally, wait for the Chinook crate to unlock, loot it and try to get to your base as fast as possible. If you're playing solo, you should avoid dying. The scientists will respawn 25 minutes after the first one got killed, when no player is close. So if you died and want to swim back, you probably won't even get back up to dock because the scientists will kill you again. Also there's currently a place in the rig where you can place deployables. Back here at the fire you can place up to 6 sleeping bags, as well as many different items. Here are some of them. Also really important to mention is that you always have to watch out for other players trying to counter you. Some people will just drive there with a boat and you will hear the engine sound of them, while others, well-organized players, might wait a bit further away. Listen for gunshots first, observe the rig if there's even scientists on there, look for the Chinook flying away or landing etc. and then they will jump into the water, put their diving things on and silently swim up to the rig, sneak up the monument and wait for a good moment to backstab you to get all your loot. Also you shouldn't underestimate the noise all the gunfire will do. And not only that, the shooting particles are visible from even further away. After all that, you probably want to know what you would even get out of there and if it's worth it. To answer those questions, let me just show you a screenshot of the loot you can get out of there. I would even go that far to say that it's with the most worth and enjoyable monument they added into the game so far. This monument unifies things like PvE, PvP, tons of loot, weapons, loads of scrap, load your blueprints, things to research, any kinds of explosives, etc. And I will definitely move close towards this monument in the next wipes I play, because even in the early game it's possible to get loads of loot out of there with just a compound bow or a revolver. With that being said, I want to thank you for your attention and I hope I could help you a bit. So if you want to support me, go to my channel, subscribe to me and hit that notification bell to not miss out on any future videos. And as always, see you in the next one.